All right, what's going on, everyone? Supreme Kami here. So, as a recording this is 11:53. So, tomorrow we will be getting news on what we're gonna get for the version 3.0 large. They indicate large update over here. So, that should be hopefully not too many gigabytes for any users out there, Android and iOS, obviously, because I feel like every time when we have these kind of updates, player base do always complain about like the large file size. Me personally, yes, that kind of happens because sometimes the game kind of, I don't know why. Like sometimes on the iOS it kind of refreshes, so I have to re-download the whole game once again. That's like another 2.6 gigabyte for me. Like every time re-downloading, and then an additional 1 gigabyte just to re-download all those in-game content. So hopefully, as they're dropping these newer updates, can like is there a way to like condense the overall file size, maybe some sort of way? I don't know, but hopefully that could be a thing. So it is going to be released tomorrow, obviously. But prior to any news over here, I do want to give my just my thoughts and concern, and what I want to see going forward the game over here. Obviously, right now we are approaching second year is coming up, so how can they prolong this game a little bit longer? In terms of like this right here being a Gundam, a mainstream Gundam mobile game, or as they branch onto newer, like in terms of like more of like a PvP base, because obviously this game right now at this current stage, it can never. Let me put it this way: never say never, but at this point I say right now, it is really hard for them to make this into like a PvP based game. So I feel like the next approach is release a another Gundam mobile game. It will not. There won't be no conflict. Obviously, I think this game, if they release like a PvP based game, Gundam game, it will attract more fan base. Hopefully, that should be the overall, just a bit, attract more play base so people can enjoy both world, right? Right, because like the Gundam, you say they changed the name. Obviously, they changed it to, instead of being GBGW, they changed it to GBM now, Gundam Breaker Mobile, like it should be. This game is more for like collection, but building out your unique gunpla, slapping on different parts and all that. So, what I want to see, or I want to talk about like the major things I would like to see if there are going to implement. It's gonna be this little thing over here. So let me actually switch back into the game, real quick over here. So currently, the latest update we had is the 2.4 update, right? The 2.4 update introduced us this little gear here. This is our right leg gear. So we don't know. I assume every update they kind of do bring this gear over here. So are they gonna bring this gear over here? This one currently locked, obviously. Are they gonna bring the left leg gear for the 3.0 update? This is my speculation, because are they trying to push this out now? Or are they gonna wait a little bit longer and then they can implement newer stuff for us to do? I feel like these two, the left arm and then the right leg, I would say it's a pretty big burden on a lot of player base. Like I'm talking about, if you're not a well, or maybe like a light spender, I don't want to talk too much as like everyone in a way, because me personally, I have no problem forming out a lot of these over here. But for like when I'm looking at people's builds, like in those multi missions, I see a lot of people, especially even this one. This is like our every first gear. I see this gear off, basically all for not being like the highest potential yet. So my question is it that hard to form it, or are people not putting in the time and effort? I know these two takes a lot of time to farm it up. So hopefully, especially this one over here, the Vortec gear, they can give us a little bit more support in ways of getting, let's say, more capital wise, since like, because like capital wise is another issue I do want to talk about. But let's say, give us a lot more campaigns where we can upgrade these stuff to maybe even green green tier. Blue tier is obviously like the end goal, but at least help people get started on them, because like these gears like make up a large portion of what my build is, obviously. If I give you guys a quick example real quick right here, like my melee build, Like I have all the possible gear you can put on my suit. So these one probably take you like extremely long amount of time to get this up to this level. Like, so hopefully that's something they kind of address in like later update, easier to obtain. Like especially getting this gear over here. I don't want to spend too much time on talking about this one specific topic, but I feel like this is something I need to address before they move on to another gear, because people will be looking like, what? Why do you have so many gears to kind of form up, right? Because the only current way we can get these one over here that upgrades to the work gear is this little fellas over here, and one, they're really expensive, and two, if you guys are not at a level every week, it's gonna take you approximately 6 weeks to get everything through, and that takes so long because that shouldn't be the that should be it, uh like what, 6 week into this game, just trying to get all these, and then with the amount of capitals that is needed, I don't think that's right. Yeah, that's just my opinion. Do let me know what are you like. Would this even concern you and all that? But if they going forward and release that left leg gear, that is gonna be a problem, obviously. Yes, capital is something I do want to address as well, because the maximum capacity you can see right now I do have 80 million. So the maximum capital you can put is gonna be 99 million. That's the cap. So hopefully, is it possible to lift the barrier and have us have X amount of surplus? Because capitals in this game right now is kind of like a limited item, I would say, because you can only do up to, let's say you have 90, right? And then most alteration cost you about 5 million already. So that's like a chip your capital gone. So is there any way like they can, me personally, I do want them to kind of ratio down the capital usage on upgrading stuff, like from going from a 5 star to 6 star, you're looking at about 5 million capital again. And then upgrading something from that level 80 to that level 90 per se, man, that takes extremely amount of capitals and resources. And people go broke every week. So how can people like upgrade stuff at that point, right? So that's something hopefully they can kind of address and all that. I know that's maybe not a big issue for some player base, but to some degree that might be. But that's it. It's more of like a competitive nature if you guys want to upgrade everything and all that. But like I said, this game is a little bit more different because there's this little gear thing over here that pictures the picture studio over here. So this is another aspect of this game that I like, and that kind of help the longevity of this game, because and there's a lot of player base who kind of go in here, take a lot of pictures. They can put like green screen like I have right here, and then they can kind of render out what they like. So I do like this feature. I hope that in future update they can kind of broaden it. Give us a little more gimmick to what you can do. But obviously, there's gonna be some pro and con to this. In terms of pros, I think people like what I would like to see is allow us to kind of pose however we want. I'm talking about allowing us to move certain part of the kit, because all these posts are kind of fixed and some of them does not look good. I can say that much right now. So hopefully later on, if possible, if I don't know if the whole development into this picture booth over here, if some whatever reason we are able to like pose whatever we pose we want, I think that will like, kind of attracts more play base, because I think this overall game is just more like if you cannot really get the actual gunplay in person, this game kind of supplements that. So hopefully that will kind of push that overall direction into like people doing more designs, doing a little bit more aesthetic work instead of being on the other spectrum, like a little bit more people who wells and plays really good in arena, do really good, do really big damage in the raw. So I think they really do need to focus a little bit on this, hopefully. But in terms of the con, I would say there's only one con, right? It's gonna be the game size file, because I don't know if implementing more on this will increase the overall size, and people don't like that because people out there may not have the best of the phone, or may not have the latest generation phone where they can push a lot of gigabytes into the phone. That can be a problem as well. So hopefully, when they do release this kind of update, they can kind of constrain the size a little bit. In terms of some quality update, I can kind of before talking about the quality update, I do want to switch back into the website over here. So if we do take a look at the JP version of the official GBM like Trude over here, so you can see that they have been doing a lot of these like competition wise, or you can say, I don't know, you take a picture, so they have a theme and then you take a picture of your gunpla as like a custom. So I do hope that they continue to do more of these over here, but make it a little bit easier to access, I guess. So is would there be any ways for us to kind of submit this via the game? Because I think you do kind of have to share this on like your actual social media, which I don't for like like for privacy, I guess. I don't think that's a pretty good idea. So if possible, if they can whatsoever implement this onto the actual game, I think that would be good. But and also just give like when they do these kind of events over here, I guess kind of implement this into the notice page as well, because like there are obviously certain people that doesn't really follow like their Twitter, their Facebook page and all that. So if they would have give us a little bit like of a hint, even in game notice, I think that would be good. So obviously you can see, I think these build are like the top 10 winners, and then they get extra, or they get their titles and all that. So that's good. Like interacting, like having the fan base interact. Building out their unique suit. That is good. Like you see over here, I think there's this, like a specific theme to the Rons. I think it was one of the pilot Rons, right? Yeah, the Pale Rider. Yeah, I think that was that. So hopefully they do continue to improve whatever competition or all that good stuff over here. So switching back to the game in terms of some quality update, I do want to see. I think first of all, I think right now currently the bigger portion is doing multi mission wise. So, obviously doing the crew multi missions is in terms of quality update is fine. What I want to specifically talk about is like, let's say I hop into this daily crew multi mission is over here, and for whatever reason I have to pick up a phone call, or I see a notification and I actually accidentally tap on it. For this one, it's fine. Once you click on it, you can always go back to it. But if you go back into, let's say we take a look into, I don't know, let's say this time we have the hash mall. So let's say I go in here, I join a match. So right here, until this point, you're still fine. But let's say I create a room, and then for whatever reason, I get a phone call, I get a notification, I click on it, I automatically get disconnected for this match. Like, I don't know why this is the issue. Like, is there some possible way they can kind of remove this? Like I think, like me personally, I think this is a pretty big problem for me, because like, there's times when I am in the actual match and like I get kicked out and I have to reopen the game once again. That takes a lot of my time to kind of reopen the game, get back into that point. So that's one quality update I do want them to kind of implement, hopefully. Secondly is in terms of quality update or just overall, I think they need to start updating these kind of exchange job over here. Good thing this week we have the motivation coin exchange, and man, I hope one day they can, future in terms of quality update, they can kind of give us a little bit more resource. Do you guys think two of each is good in today's meta? Like, think about how many stuff we have to upgrade to 6 star. Work on your war gear. Like, do you think two is enough to justify of how many parts we need to upgrade? Certainly, that is not the case. So hopefully, they can implement later on, give us an update, where they kind of do like an overhaul for this exchange rate over here. It's not only for this one over here. Like, we can kind of go over to, let's even take a look at the nippers. 20. Do you think 20 is enough to satisfy your, upgrading your stuff to level 80 to 90? I don't think that's the case. So that is something they need to kind of fix as well. This is one of the problem, and then there's obviously some more. I think down. I think the permanent side. Yeah, I think in terms of this one is a big problem as well. Like, you can only get 4. Do you think this is justified? I don't think so. So I think there needs to be like an overhaul for the exchange page over here. That is something that is needed, for that, right? In terms of other like game aspect, other than the quality update, I do hope that one day they can maybe implement another game mode over here in terms of like your missions. So if they were to implement new missions, that means a lot of people will be able to obtain more horror ships and all that. One thing that I do hope they will implement is similar to this one, similar to the relic gear, where we'll be able to form up this over here. But instead of like the pilot wise, like the deeper and long shooter, maybe make another stage where we can, potentially get those specific word gear, like those word tag. Because like I said again, it takes about 6 months if you guys are in that on that E grade range to get, from like a part to, a 1 star to a 3 stars, and not to mention the amount of like capitals that is needed to upgrade whatever 15 parts to level 99. I did some calculation before already. I believe it takes roughly about more than 300 million capital, which is more than what we are able to contain in our box currently. So that is one thing they can kind of do, I guess. So that is pretty much it for me. I think that is just a little bit of like just a little tidbit of the iceberg I just want to discuss over here. Do feel free to leave in the comment section below like what you guys do like them to kind of implement into the game. Obviously, what I have stated is probably not everyone's like top choice of like what they need to add, what they need to fix, and all that. But do let me know. I do want to see what you guys do have in your minds and all that. But with that being said, that is pretty much it for me over here. So once they drop the actual in-game notice of like no on the actual website of what they have in store for us in terms of like the 3.0 update, I will obviously go over every single one of them and just keep you guys updated and all that. So with that being said, this is pretty much it for me over here, and then I will catch you guys all on the next one.